Hey YouTubers, Becky here, rolling with the Davises. Question of the day was, did we head north too soon? Believe me you, we ask ourselves that every day when we got to the Tetons. Hey everybody, we are getting ready to ride the Grand Teton Pathway from Moose, Wyoming up to, I think it's called Jenny Lake. Do know there's some snow on the pathway up close to the lake. We were up there yesterday, so we may not be able to get all the way, or we may have to transfer over to the road to get over to the Jenny Lake Visitor Center and picnic area and that kind of thing. But we're going to give it a try. It's a beautiful day here in Moose, Wyoming. May 8th, I believe it is. Still snow on a lot of the roads up in the mountains, but the pathway's open. We started our ride at the Moose Post Office. That's a good place to access the trail. You do have to go through a park entry station as you ride up the bike path. Dave has the America the Beautiful Pass, so it did not cost us anything to get into the park. The pathway from Moose to Jenny Lake is generally a fairly easy ride. There is 404 feet of elevation gain over 7 miles. There is one section that's a little bit steep that I had to stop halfway up and catch my breath, but then I made it the rest of the way. Last week's video showed all the wildlife that we saw in Grand Teton National Park. I'll link that video below. I also mentioned that we had hoped to do a lot of biking, hiking, and kayaking on our Florida to Alaska road trip. We were hoping to explore and keep it budget friendly. We ran into roadblocks to this plan as we traveled farther north. Most of the roads in Grand Tetons with dispersed camping were still closed due to snow. The reviews on all trails indicated most of the trails were still snow covered. The streams and rivers were at high flow levels and dangerously cold. We were able to bike ride in the Tetons for 2 days, but the weather turned into an adventure on the second ride. Stay tuned for that. After checking reviews for several days in a row, we decided to try a low elevation hike and still ran into snow and mud. If you keep watching, you'll see that fun. Remember I said at the beginning of this ride, I hoped that we could make it all the way to Jenny Lake without having to get out back on the road? Well, here's the snow that we saw the previous day, but we were able to scoot by. And we were able to find a nice bench to sit and have our lunch before heading back to town. On our second bike trip at Grand Teton National Park, we started at the Visitor Center down in Jackson Hole. National Elk Refuge on our right. Elk have migrated now. They're up in the flats. And just like the other part of the path that we did previously, this is fairly level, except for when it isn't. 308 feet of elevation gain over 4.5 miles. The issue is that most of that elevation gain is all in one section. Still very doable. We only stopped once to get a drink of water and catch our breath and enjoy the fantastic views. And at the top of the hill, you enter Grand Teton National Park. We had hoped to do 10 to 12 miles on this path this day. By the time we got to the top of the hill, the wind and the rain were picking up, and we decided to turn around when we got to the big Welcome to Grand Teton sign. Our total for the day was 9.17 miles. Yellowstone Lake, May 12th, 2025. Froze over. These mergansers didn't seem to mind the cold. Roads into Yellowstone had only been open for 3 days the day that we went up. I have promised myself that the next time we get to Yellowstone, we will make time to tour the Old Faithful in. And here's a 2-minute eruption of Old Faithful in 30 seconds. Of course, when you visit the Tetons, you've got to swing by Mormon Row. Be sure to take time to read about the history of the people that lived here and what they did to survive in what can be sometimes a very harsh environment, even though beautiful. We are going the Moose Ponds Trail at Jenny Lake, crossing Cottonwood Creek. This creek came into Snake River. We saw it on our float the other day. See this clear water coming in and mixing with the muddy water of the Snake. It's a beautiful view here at the start of the trail. Got some weather coming in later today, so we're going to try to get this done before it gets here. So if you do the trail clockwise from the Jenny Lake parking lot, it does come out onto a section of road, and then it makes a right turn after a short distance onto a very skinny trail through this meadow. And then somewhere along the line we're going to make another right and head toward the ponds. We've got a helicopter working today, bringing construction material in, possibly taking some stuff out.
No, that's a dude hanging underneath of it.
Oh yeah, it's actually somebody hanging under him this time. Before it looked like a bag of material. Maybe that's a rescue helicopter, I don't know. We stayed and watched long enough that we do believe that they were practicing search and rescue here. They would drop that guy off, fly away, and he would change position and they would come back and pick him up. So we've made it across the meadow and we're getting ready to make a U-turn to the right here, and that should put us into the woods. I do have a bear spray with me, as you can see. Looks like we can find the trail here. Looks like we're crossing the road again. Found it on the other side of the road. Still a little narrow path, which is fine. Prefer that to walking on the road. That's another way back to the parking area. And this is the Moose Ponds Loop. It is May 13th, so still a little bit of mud. We may still run into a little bit of snow. Speaking of which, here's the first snow we've seen on the trail today. See some sign here on this tree of elk raking their antlers. There were some other hikes we wanted to do in the park, but it ends up they're pretty much all snow covered. This one down at this lower elevation has this much snow. We know we don't want to head to higher elevations. So we've come into an area here with a pond. Probably some moose activity here certain times of day. We don't see any right now. It's a pretty barren area right here. We're thinking it might be an avalanche chute off of the Grand. We're not experts, we're just guessing.
Just all the trees laid down, going to get a bit of snow up there.
Yeah, and maybe not from this year, maybe from previous years this has been destroyed by avalanche. A lot of big boulders here that could have come off of the mountain over time. We have some evidence of moose. We believe this is moose. And we got some snow melt running here.
interesting. Pretty. Where'd he go? Ah.
You come running out there, right around the rock, right at me.
Huh. Dave just saw a marmot on the trail while I was up there filming the waterfall. He's probably hiding down here now. Where do you think he went?
I don't know.
Okay.
Down that way.
We have officially made it to Moose Ponds. And at the moment, there are no moose. There is a beaver hut in the middle of the pond, between the two ponds. We've made our way back to Jenny Lake. We've got about half a mile to go. And now this is going to be our view the rest of the way back on the left. During the season, this is where you come to catch the boat to ride across the lake to Inspiration Point Trail without having to hike the Jenny Lake Trail to get there. First time we went to Inspiration Point, we hiked the Jenny Lake Trail. Last time we took the boat. They're not open for the season yet. Sprinkling rain down here, but it may be snowing on the mountains again. I don't know if that's fog, clouds, or snow. What do you think, Dave? Snowing up there? Or is it just cloudy?
Probably is snow.
Look how clear this creek is.
All the dang fish.
We did 3.5 miles on the Moose Ponds Trail. I'm going to leave you with some pictures that I took at and from our campsite during our time in the Grand Tetons in May of 2025. From sunsets to morning fog to the snow that fell on our Jeep overnight. It was a beautiful place to be. Let me know in the comments below. Did we come north too soon? Or was the wildlife that we saw and the beautiful scenery with the snow completely worth changing our plans for what our activities would be? And as always, let's keep rolling.